I save them for our deities. Hare Krishna. Welcome back, Maharaj. It's good to have you here. All is well in New Goloka. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacharmi Yamunatira Vanacharmi Yamunatira Vanacharmi Yamunatira Vanacharmi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Vardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pavrikacharya Satara Sada Shri Srimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavin Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopakopanash Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Could someone get me a glass of water? There's one here, but it's old. Yeah. That's not mine. That's from some time ago. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 54, and this is verse number 26. Yavanna me hato banai Shayata muncha darikam Smayan Krishno Danushchitva Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam Yavanna me hato banai Shayita muncha darikam Smayan Krishno Danushchitva Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam Yavanna me hato banai Shayata muncha darikam Smayan Krishno Danushchitva Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam Yavan me no hobanai Yayata muncha darikan Mayan Krishno Danushchitva Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam Yavan me yatato midnai Shayata muncha rarikan Smayan Krishno Danushchitva Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam Yavan me Rodvanai Nitya muncha harinam Smayan Krishno Danushchitva Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam Yavaname hato banai. Shayata munchabdarikam. Mayan Krishno Vinanuschidva. Shadbir Vivyada Rukminam. Yavat, while, na, not, may, my, hataha, killed, banai, by the arrows, shayataha, you lie down, muncha, release, darikam, the girl, smayan, smiling, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Danu, his bow, chitva, breaking, shadbihi, with 6 arrows, vivyada, pierced, rukminam, Rukmi. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Release the girl before you are struck dead by my arrows and made to lie down. In response to this, Lord Krishna smiled, and with 6 arrows he struck Rukmi along and his bow. Please repeat. Release the girl before you are struck dead by my arrows and made to lie down. In response to this, Lord Krishna smiled, and with 6 arrows he struck Rukmi and broke his bow. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that in fact, Lord Krishna was meant to lie down together with Rukmini on a beautiful bed of flowers. But out of shyness, Rukmi did not directly mention this point. Nama Om Vishnu Padai Krishna Bastai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bacharani Nirasesa Sunyavadi Vachadeshani Vanchakalpa Charubyas Chakripa Sindhabhyevacha Patitanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vanchakalpa Charubyas Chakripa Sindhabhyevacha Patitanam Pavanavyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. There are some short tikas here by the Acharyas. I won't read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's because it's been summarized pretty clearly by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. But Jiva Goswami writes, as long as, having received my arrows, you do not lie down peacefully, showing the uselessness of his arrows, as long as Rukmini is not peaceful, having her desires for you fulfilled, give up satisfying her and fight. Before satisfying Rukmini, after receiving my arrows, fight with me. Krishna smiled. Since taking either meaning, his words were unfit. Krishna released 6 arrows to strike his head, 2 hands, 2 feet, and waist. Somehow he survived. Yeah, but he got hit in the head with it, Krishna's arrow. Sanatana Goswami writes, before you are injured by my arrows and are made to lie down, free the girl. The other meaning is, strike me, having come to lie down with being injured by my arrows. Or, until being injured by your arrows, I remove my pride. Do not remain complacent. Do not free the girl. It is not proper to give up fighting. The word may modifies madam and munda in the previous verse. He criticizes himself because of his pride. Krishna smiled. In either case, he should not speak in this way. Krishna released 6 arrows to strike his head, 2 hands, 2 feet, and waist. So here we have God running away with the young maiden, the sister of this rascal Rukmi. And Rukmi is so foolish, he doesn't recognize who he's dealing with. Rukmi may, and probably he does, actually Rukmi does have an understanding of the hierarchy of the cosmic, of this manifestation, cosmic manifestation. It's the Vedic times. Even the demons had some understanding of what was proper and what wasn't proper. After all, Hiranyakashipu spoke some really good philosophy to his grieving relatives after Hiranyaksha was killed. It didn't change the fact that he wanted still to fight with Vishnu. And Rukmi, no doubt, knew that somehow or other that there was, there are demigods. There's even God in some sense of the word, because he's trained up and understands that nothing just comes from nothing. Like today, the scientists say, or the modern understanding, ultimately it's a void, it comes from nowhere, goes to nowhere, has no purpose, it's just here. Well, no one at that time is going to actually believe that. But Rukmi, he can't understand that he's facing God. I believe there's God, but that's not you. He thinks Krishna is a usurper, so to speak. He's usurping the Rukmini. He's taking Rukmini away from Shishupal. He's usurping his position. He's calling himself a Kshatriya, and he's really just from a cowherd family. But somehow or other, he doesn't understand that Krishna's position is transcendental. And so he throws these insults at Krishna. And the Acharyas do a great service to us by reversing these insults and making it obvious that what Rukmi is saying is exactly opposite of what the fact is. That it's not going to be Krishna who lies down after being hit with arrows, but it's going to be him who lies down. And then Krishna, he's going to lie down, but with Rukmini. And it's said that Rukmi, out of shyness, he doesn't really complete his statement. Even the demons had some decorum in those days. Today, people say anything. Anything, anywhere, anytime. Just like a dog barks, anywhere, anytime. So these pastimes to those who are not who understand in general the Vedic paradigm are really bewildering. And even those who are within the Vedic paradigm. In other words, if we go out into the general public today and we give them this passage, they can't make anything of it. It's a superhero story or something. They don't know. To them, it's just inconceivable. How can God be fighting with a demon over a girl? If there is God, he's like, big, powerful, as, that story I've told before, that when Tamal Krishna Maharaj was speaking to a Christian preacher and said, well, no one's ever seen God. And he says, well, I know no one's ever seen God, the preacher said. And he said, you know why? It's because he's so big you can't get back far enough to see him. He's got to be big. He's got to be powerful. He's got to be almighty. He's got to be almost indescribably remote. People who have these near-death experiences, sometimes they experience God. But in general, their experience of God is somewhat like the universal form. They describe a being of light. They describe a superhuman, beyond belief, sort of form within the cosmos who's giving them reassurances. Well, this isn't Krishna. This is, at most, it's some sort of external display of Krishna's energy. And they get great benefit from that, but it's not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a term that we use very freely, and it really denotes who God is. Because Godhead refers to that spiritual realm, the eternal kingdom of God. That's Godhead. I mean, it's an old word that no one uses really anymore, but if you go back in Christian texts also, they talk about the Godhead. And the Godhead is that place. It's like they would describe as heaven, or we understand that's the entire spiritual world with all the manifestations of God. And it also includes the Brahman and Paramatma. That's Godhead, spiritual energy. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's Krishna. So in one sense, Krishna is beyond God. He's the God of gods. He's the top God. He's the supermost, the cherry on top of the sundae. Beyond belief, beyond understanding. He's Achintya. And this is spoken of by so many devotees, and not just devotees who are conditioned devotees, but we're talking about pure devotees. We're talking about personalities who are within Krishna's pastimes. If we go to the teachings of the prayers of Queen Kunti, we find two prayers that directly address this confusion about Krishna's appearance in this world. They're verses 29 and 30 of chapter 8 of the first canto. Kunti Devi prays, "O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and are so misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial." And Prabhupada writes, I'll read a portion of this purport here. "The Lord's mercy upon the fallen souls is equally distributed. He has no one as a specific object of hostility. The very conception of the personality of Godhead as a human being is misleading. His pastimes appear to be exactly like a human being's, but actually they are transcendental and without any tinge of material contamination." So here we have, it looks like he's pretty partial in this scene we have. Having Rukmi attack him and ultimately subduing Rukmi, taking away Rukmi's sister right under his nose, and he can't do anything. It does look like there's partiality there. But there is no partiality. And Prabhupada goes on to explain in the purport that the sun is available to everyone, but different levels of people, they experience the sun in different ways. Some will take the full sunshine, some will take partial sunshine, some will just hide. The pure devotees, they're able to take the pure sunshine. And that pure sunshine means that they can understand Krishna not by their intellect, but by Krishna's mercy. And therefore they'll accept pastimes of the Lord which appear contradictory, which appear to be impossible, because it's Krishna and he can do anything. Mixed devotees, they'll accept Krishna to some degree. Yes, God is great, but there's some sort of contamination there which says that, oh, maybe he's not like that, but there is God, and so they can accept part of the sunshine. And those who can't accept anything, they're in abject darkness. They don't know anything. They're speculating. They're trying to find the origin of the universe. It's a big bang, or it's some kind of, as Prabhupada said, a chunk exploding. Who cares what the chunk or the particle that exploded? As one Catholic theologian said, we're not interested in the Big Bang. We're interested in what happened before the Big Bang. In other words, there may have been a Big Bang, but what's the setting? It's not coming what we would call ex nihilo, from nothing. It's coming from somewhere, somebody. And actually, it's probably the big breath of Mahavishnu. And they see it as a big bang because they have some evidence of some sort of explosive energy at the, quote, time of creation. But they know nothing because they're in darkness. So it's really important that we come to out of darkness. And then Prabhupada writes later, the mercy of the Lord is open for him, but he's speaking about the person in darkness, but he's reluctant to receive it. That is the difference between a pure devotee. Oh, he's actually speaking to a mixed devotee. A mixed devotee is someone who prays to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, cure my disease. And then after the disease is cured, he just kind of like says, well, okay, thank you, God. I'm going on my way. And then the difference is, that is the difference between a pure devotee and a mixed devotee. Those who are completely against the service of the Lord are considered to be in abject darkness. Those who ask for the Lord's favor only at the time of necessity are partial recipients of the mercy of the Lord. And those who are 100% engaged in the service of the Lord are full recipients of the mercy of the Lord. And so there's no partiality. People get what they want. You don't want Krishna, you don't get him. If you want Krishna just as a fixer, you get that. And if you want Krishna because you want to develop your love for Krishna, then you get the full mercy. In the next verse, okay, the last line of this paragraph has been recommended for me to read, so I will read that last line. Such partiality in receiving the Lord's mercy is relative to the recipient, and it is not due to the partiality of the all-merciful Lord. Not even more completely. Krishna is giving, just like the sun is shining, you can stay inside, you can stand under a tree, you can go into the direct sunshine. It's our choice how we accept the light. And then the next verse, Queen Kunti says, of course it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work, though you are inactive, and that you take birth, though you are the vital force and unborn. You yourself descend amongst animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. And then Prabhupada writes, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are not only bewildering, but also apparently contradictory. That's why people can poke holes in it if they're just academics. And that's why the people on the outside can say, how is this? How is this possible? But the devotee says anything's possible for the Lord. Anything. In other words, they are all inconceivable to the limited thinking power of the human being. Don't try to figure out how the Lord does anything. People put down limits. God can't do this. How can we say God can't do that? Dr. Frog couldn't understand that there was something bigger than his well. And he really was off because the well was like 4 feet wide. And how many of those can you put in the Atlantic Ocean? And you thought maybe, it's 15 feet wide. That's a lot bigger. But it's not understandable. When you stand next to the ocean, it's inconceivably large. In fact, we have a word in English, fathom. Now, fathom is a depth. It's equivalent to 6 feet. So you can say how many fathoms deep is the ocean. But it also is a verb, which means how can I fathom how big that is? So fathom means, wow, big. And it related to the ocean. He appears in the form of a boar amongst the animals, in the form of human beings as Ram, Krishna, etc., in the form of a rishi like Narayan, and in the form of aquatic like a fish. Yet it is said he is unborn and he has nothing to do. So what's he doing here? He's acting. But if Krishna stays, or God is inconceivably huge or inconceivably tiny or inconceivably diverse, like the super soul or the universal form, we can't love him, not like a person. When Krishna comes in his, quote, medium-sized form, then he can be approached by the living entities who are surrendered to him. and develop a relationship with him. And those relationships come in different levels. And even great personalities, they don't really understand how great Krishna is. I mean, I can't understand anything, really. I really can't. I can understand that Prabhupada has given me some level of understanding because he's given Krishna book, he's given his instructions, and he's shown by his example that he has total faith. So I can have total faith in Prabhupada that he's he's transmitting the proper understanding of who Krishna is from the Parampara, from Lord Chaitanya. But other than that, really, I can't understand anything. Maybe Krishna comes and gives me some realization because of Prabhupada's mercy. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado yasya prasada nakatika topi. You know, Krishna and Guru, they're interrelated, and mercy from Krishna, Guru, it's like a circle. Guru gives mercy of Krishna, Krishna gives mercy of Guru. It's inconceivable. It's beyond our understanding. But we can read about someone like Lord Brahma. Now, I mean, Lord Brahma, he's not like me. Lord Brahma, he's the most exalted personality within this universe. He's the most exalted jiva within this universe. He is the first created personality. He's got 4 heads. He sees all directions. He's beyond anything we can conceive of. He would be understood to be God by someone who without knowing who God is. If Lord Brahma plopped down in the middle of Raleigh today, he would be worshipped as God. Because, I mean, my God, he's got 4 heads. He's totally, and blinding light coming from him, totally effulgent. I don't know what size he would come down in. I mean, he'd have to fit down between the buildings somehow. He would be God. But yet, Brahma, he states in text 38 of the 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, I'm just paraphrasing here. Others can speak about knowing you, my dear Lord, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because you're beyond all understanding. That's Lord Brahma. But in the next verse, text 39, which is not known as, not quoted as often, he says something which is actually even more incredible if you think about it. He says, my dear Krishna, I now humbly request permission to leave Vrindavan. Actually, you are the knower and seer of all things. Indeed, you are the Lord of all the universe. Yet I offer this one universe to you, unto you. And then Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, which is like a purport to this verse. My dear Lord, although you are the supreme Lord of all creation, I sometimes falsely think that I am the master of this universe. I may be the master of this universe, but there are innumerable universes, and there are also innumerable Brahmas who preside over these universes. But actually, you are the master of them all. As the super soul in everyone's heart, you know everything. Please therefore accept me as your surrendered servant. I hope that you will excuse me for disturbing you in your pastimes with your friends and calves. Now, if you will kindly allow me, I will immediately leave so you can enjoy your friends and calves without my presence. In other words, I don't belong in Vrindavan. It's just too intimate for me. It's not my place to be. This is the Lord of our universe. It's a very special position. And the last part of the paragraph, the last part of the purport, written by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Upon seeing the intense love the residents of Vrindavan had for Lord Krishna, Brahma felt unqualified to remain there. He was not eager to give up the Lord's association, but he felt it better to return to his personal devotional service in Brahmaloka. We're not qualified to be in the spiritual world. We are qualified to be devotees of some sort, but we're not qualified, as of yet, to be associates of Krishna in the spiritual world. Not in Vrindavan Leela or even in his post-Vrindavan Leelas, which are a little less intimate. The sense of Krishna being God is there in Dwarka or Mathura, but still, it's an intimate relationship. I mean, Rukmini is the goddess of fortune, and she knows that Krishna is the supreme Lord. But at the same time, it's a very intimate. I mean, it's not like the gopis or Mother Yashoda. It's just Krishna, and how can he be God? I mean, he's a rascal. He's a rascal little boy. He's a rascal teenager, whatever. You know, he's mischievous. So Brahma knows that he can't stay there. He's Brahma. He's got a big post. He can't join the party. It's not his party. So he leaves, and he's going to do his service. Somewhat embarrassed and unhappy over his foolish attempt at bewildering the Lord, Brahma preferred to resume his transcendental loving service rather than try to enjoy the Lord's presence. So we have to engage in service of the Supreme Lord in order to become purified so that we can come into the presence of the Lord. Every day we have that opportunity, beginning with chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we chant the Maha Mantra, if we chant at least somewhat purely in the Namabha stage, that is, without offense, then gradually, as it becomes dawn in the morning, the light of dawn, even before the sun rises, drives away all the thieves and rogues and others as the light comes up. Once the sun comes up, if you're a thief, you better get hiding because people will see you. And so the thief of Maya will be sent away once we start chanting Namabhas. And that's important. It means that our chanting has to be very purified and serious. Someday when we chant Shuddhanam, pure Nam, then that's Krishna dancing on our tongue. And we will know that it's not us chanting, but it's Krishna chanting on our tongue. And at that point, then everything becomes very clear. But in the meantime, it gets clearer and clearer. But look at me. I mean, here I am. I'm a reject of Kali Yuga. I mean, really. Lucky to have a human birth after so many sojourns and so many births. How is it possible for us, for me, to actually chant the name purely? On my own, it's not going to happen. So we need mercy. And of course, the mercy comes through Guru. And Guru gives us initiation, connects us to the Parampara, and allows us to make advancement under his guidance. But who is Guru? Guru is a representative of the Saksat Dari Twain Asnamasta Sastir. He's Lord Hari in present of servitor. Directly. How is that possible? Maybe Guru looks ordinary. Maybe Guru gets sick. But Guru is not ordinary. Why? Because Guru is a representative of the Akhanda Guru, Lord Balaram. And in our case, for us, we want to take shelter of Lord Nityananda. We say Nitai Gaur Haribo. And of course, Lord Chaitanya, he's come to save everyone and inaugurate the Krishna consciousness movement, or the chanting of the holy name for the whole world. But for me, in order for me to make advancement, ultimately, it comes down to Nitai's mercy. Jagai and Madai were demons, so to speak. But they weren't even demons of a high caliber. They were just low-class jerks. drunkards, thieves, womanizers, and just, at least Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, they had some kind of decorum. They were kind of classy in their own demoniac way. These guys were like just bums. And we're just bums in this Kali Yuga. We have no position. Therefore, it's Lord Nityananda. Nitai Padakamala, Koti Chandra Chushitala, Ye Chayai Jagata, Jurai, Heno Nitai Bine Bai, Radha Krishna Paitinai, Drita Kori, Daro Nitai Pai. What does it say? The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are the shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which is exactly what Jagai and Madai did. They just, Madai is the one who Jagai actually is the one who caught the feet, and Madai is the one who's still held out even after Lord Chaitanya came. But he eventually also dove to the feet of the Lord Nityananda in complete abject surrender. I don't know anything else. Everything is failing, and therefore I have to have the mercy of someone who can give me a chance to practice the process of Krishna consciousness so that I can become a lover of Krishna, a lover of Radha. Because actually it's Radha who's, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made that point that we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship Radha first. Radha Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Radharani is Madan Mahan Mohini. Because she is bewildering even the one who bewilders Cupid. So it's only through the mercy of Guru, who is representing Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, that we get the mercy. And we have to always be faithful, because there are times we're in this movement and devotees say things, do things, and things that are not really very good. We say things that aren't very good. We offend each other. We sometimes may even drive someone away from Krishna consciousness with our attitude. But we have to understand, no matter what happens to us, Lord Nityananda's mercy is with us. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy, therefore I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. So whatever happens to us in Krishna consciousness, we get disturbed, someone says something, just hold on to Lord Nityananda's feet, because he is perfect and he'll take us back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
daramdam Kandar ako idamaniya Ishesha Shobha
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Jami
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adi Purusham Tamaham Jami
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi
It's at the very end because it's in alphabetical order.
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva.
Bolo Hari Hari.
You have the good cards on.
Hari.
Rama Krishna Green Nashima Vamana Shri Madhusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama Ramana Shri Madhusudana Rajendra Nandana Shama Putana Gatana Kaitabashatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Nagatana Kaitabashatana Jaya Dasarati Rama Yasoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Jana, Gopi Priya Jana, Radhika Ramana, Bhuvana Sundara Bara. Ravana Takara Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari. Thank you. That's perfect. Jana Rajera Rakala Gopa Vrindapala Chita Hari Bamsidari Rakala Gopa Vrindapala Chita Hari Bamsidari Yogendra Bandana Srinandanandana Braja Jana Bayahari Vandana Srinandanandana Braja Jana Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Bamsi Bihari Irada Rupamano Ibihari Jasodanandana Kamsani Sudana Nikunja Savilasi Sudanandana Kamsani Sudana Nikunja Savilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrindavi Pina Nivasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Ananda Vardana Prema Niketana Pula Shara Jojaka Kama Ananda Vardana Prema Niketana Pula Shara Jojaka Gopana Gangana Chita Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Jamuna Jivana Kelipurayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namasudharasa Goa Krishna Jasa Rakovachana Manamora Namasudharasa Goa Krishna Jasa Rakovachana Manamora Vibhavari Shesha Loka Vecha Nija Chari Utajiva Vibhavari Shesha Loka Vecha Nija Chari Utajiva Bhavani Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Yagriva Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radha Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, Ranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana Gaurari. Golokananda Radha Golokananda Shri Radhe Golokananda Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Shri Radhe Jaya Brahmana, dwarf Brahmana incarnation, killer of demon Madhu, beloved son of Vraja's ruler, beautifully dark complexioned, slayer of witch Putana, destroyer of demon Kaitaba, and victorious son of Dasarath, Lord Ram, darling of Yashoda, giver of pleasure to cows, land, and spiritual senses, cow protector, Lord of Vrindavan, the gopis' beloved, lover of Radhika, and most beautiful in all the worlds, cause of demon Ravana's demise as Lord Ram, butter thief, robber of the gopi girls' clothes, young herdsman of Braja, protector of the cowherd boys, thief of hearts and flute carrier, worshipped by the best of the yogis, Nanda's joy, remover of all fears for the people of Braja, colored like a fresh rain cloud, enchanting in form and charming while wandering and playing a flute. Yasoda's joy, vanquisher of demon king Kamsa, in joy of the rasa dance among the forest groves, and especially under the kadamba trees, and resident of the woods of Vrinda, increasing the ecstasy of his devotees, reservoir of all love, the transcendental Cupid who uses his flowered arrows to increase the loving desires of the gopis, the pleasure of the hearts of all cowherd men and women, and the abode of all wonderful qualities, the life of the Jamuna River, always absorbed in amorous pastimes, and moon of the mind, which is the light featuring Chakorab. Heed my words, O mind. These holy names are full of nectarian mellows. Therefore sing the glories of Krishna. Todarpana marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Karai Vichandrika
Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipanam Pranam Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Wow. Tapidani Amita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Raga Anadapi Rorapi Sahishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nainam Galadashu Daraya Vadanam Gad Gadaradaya Gira Pulakar Nishitam Vabhukadan Tava Namagraham Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavapadamritam Panastumam Adarshanam Marmata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Pato Mat Prananatastu Saiva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I